Wentworth, Arthur Matthew. It says this. Oh, I wanted to read about the dress, the type of dress and what you're supposed to make sure you have on your garments. This is Numbers 15 and 37 real quick on the garments. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel and bid them that they make them fringes in the border of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue. It shall be unto you for a fringe, that ye may look upon it and remember all the commandments of the Lord and do them, and that ye seek not after your own heart and your own eyes, after which ye use to go a-whoring, that ye will remember and do all my commandments and be holy unto your God. I am the Lord your God, that brought you up out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am the Lord your God. Right. Because we're supposed to have them fringes on our garments to remind us of the commandments. And also, you're supposed to write commandments on your doorposts. You're supposed to write commandments on your wall. You're supposed to write commandments on your clothing. So you'll never ever forget them. So it'll always be right there in your face. Alright? So everywhere you go, you have a reminder to keep the commandments and you keep God on your mind. Alright? Now, I'm going to read to you about Wentworth Arthur Matthew, who is pictured on the screen. It says this. Wentworth Arthur Matthew founded the Commandment Keepers congregation in Harlem in 1919. Matthew was influenced by, matter of fact, let me make sure I ain't missing no details. Yeah, this is about Wentworth Arthur Matthew right here. Alright, make sure I ain't missing details. One article gives more details than the other. Alright, it says this. Matthew was influenced by the non-black Jews he met and by Marcus Garvey and the Universal Negro Movement Improvement Association. One of the accomplishments of Garvey's movement was to strengthen the connection between black Americans and Africa, Ethiopia, and in particular, when Matthew learned about Beta Israel, Ethiopian Jews, he identified with them. The Commandment Keepers followed traditional Jewish practices and observed Jewish holidays. Members observe Jewish dietary law, circumcise newborn boys, and celebrate bar mitzvah, and their synagogue has a partition to separate men and women during worship. The Commandment Keepers believe they are descendants of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. Matthew taught the black man is a Jew and all genuine Jews are black men, but he valued non-black Jews as those who had preserved Judaism over the centuries. Matthew maintained cordial ties with non-black Jewish leaders in New York and frequently invited them to worship at his synagogue. All right, which is all fine and dandy, but actually, you know, that was fine for the times. But back then, because I hear Elijah Muhammad did the same thing, tried to maintain a good relations with the fake Jews or whatever. That's all fine and dandy until this starts happening. Now, this is Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10. All right, why you shouldn't have these Jews sitting among you and whatnot. It says this: never trust thy enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped the looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. Set him not by thee. I'm going to read that again. Set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. And that's exactly what happened. We were overthrown in 70 AD. All right. Over time, they ended up standing up in our place, man. All right. It says, neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words, and be pricked therewith. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, and any such as come nigh wild beasts? See that? And what happened in 1948? All right, they went and established the state of Israel as if these men in the early 1900s wasn't already over here proclaiming to be the real Jews, man. They set up that state and then asked the Negroes nothing. The Negroes aren't even granted that citizenship that free citizenship when you move back to Israel. And I'm going to read about that later, man. And it wasn't them who preserved Judaism for us. It was the Most High who preserved our religion, man. Okay? Now, this is another picture of Wentworth Matthew right here. Alright, this is another picture of him. Hear that? With holding the Torah scrolls. That's another picture of him right there. Alright, it goes on to say this. Matthew established the Ethiopian Hebrew Rabbinical College, later renamed the Israelite Rabbinical Academy. He ordained more than 20 rabbis who went on to lead congregations throughout the United States and the Caribbean. He remained the leader of the Commandment Keepers in Harlem, and in 1962, the congregation moved to a landmark building on 123rd Street. Matthew died in 1973, sparking an internal conflict over who should succeed him as the head of the Harlem congregation. Now, you gotta take everything I'm reading from this article for a grain of salt, because you know these Edomites will say whatever they want about it to try to defame us or make us sound, you know, make us sound bad or whatever. All right. It says this. Shortly before his death, Matthew named his grandson, David Matthew Doré, the new spiritual leader. Doré was 16 years old at the time, and in 1975, the synagogue's board elected Rabbi Willie White to be its leader. Rabbi Doré occasionally conducted services at the synagogue until the early 1980s, when White had Doré and some other members locked out of the building. Membership declined throughout the 1990s, and by 2004, only a few dozen people belonged to the synagogue. In 2007, the Commandment Keepers sold the building that housed their synagogue, while various factions among former members sued one another. Beside the Harlem group, there are 8 or 10 Commandment Keeper congregations in New York, in the New York area, and others throughout North America and in Israel. Since 2000, 7 rabbis have graduated from the Israelite Rabbinical Academy founded by Wentworth Arthur Matthew. All right. Now I'm going to jump back to this article over here because they give a lot of details in between that time. So I got a couple articles. All right. This one is about, all right. Jumping back to 1899, it says Leon Richelieu established the Moorish Zionist Temple in Brooklyn. To date, there are literally hundreds of uncharted black Hebrew congregations in North America. They do not exist because of an aversion for mainstream American Protestantism or an attraction to the white Jewish culture. Exactly, they do. Our existence as Hebrew Israelites has nothing to do with the white Jews. We're not trying to be like them. We don't want to take their spot. We're trying to get ours back. As stated earlier, black Hebrews have always been in the world, and they repudiate the notion that they are usurpers of the heritage of white Jews. Nah, we ain't got nothing to do with their history. Our history is totally different from theirs. It says this: the great proliferation of black Hebrew groups occurred after World War I during the great migration of blacks to rural areas in the South to urban centers in the North. There were at least 9 black Hebrew congregations in New York in the early 1900s, one of which was founded by a West Indian named Arnold Josiah Ford, called Beth Benai Abraham Congregation. In 1918, another West Indian-born Israelite named Wentworth Arthur Matthews founded the Commandment Keepers, which I just read about, and emerged as one of the leading black Israelite rabbis in Harlem. Born in 1892, an African Hebrew parentage in Lagos, West Africa, Matthews moved with his family to St. Kitts in the West Indies before coming to America in 1911. It goes on to say this: branches of the Commandment Keepers exist in many American cities such as Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Cincinnati, Chicago, Ohio, Virginia, and New Jersey. In 1965, the House of Judah was founded by William Lewis in Wetumpka, Alabama. The group later purchased a 23-acre tract near Grand Junction, Michigan, where they practice a communal lifestyle.